Now, obviously, hope is a future-oriented thing, right? Hope is always forward-looking. So it seems to me that what we do when we hope is that we take a possible future in our hands and we look at it. And we sort of turn it over and then we imagine ourselves in it. That's what human hoping is like. So you got to imagine that every single day we stand in front of an enormous shelf. And on that shelf are all sorts of possible hopes. It goes floor to ceiling. It stretches as far as the eye can see from side to side. And every day, and multiple times every day, we walk up to that shelf and we take something off that hope off that shelf and we look at it and we turn it over and we imagine ourselves in it. We imagine things we could do, places we could go, jobs we could have, futures we might imagine. And generally, taking one of those hopes off and sort of looking at them is pleasant. It fills us with a little light, fills us with a little joy. It causes us to lean forward into the future. But here's the thing you got to understand about hope. Taking one of those hopes off the shelf and holding them can be dangerous. Because hope has this wild, transforming power. The longer you hold hope, the more it will start to transform and get into your heart. Here is where hope can put you to shame. That's what Paul talks about, right? Paul announces a hope that does not put us to shame. Paul wants to give to us a hope that will not be dangerous or destructive. But in describing hope that way, he admits that sometimes hope can put us to shame. Many of us know what this is like. Anyone who's held a precious future in their hands, who's imagined some future for himself or herself and held that dear, only to have it to turn to ash in their hands, knows what it means when Paul says hope can put you to shame. If you've ever gone through a divorce, if you've ever lost your business, if you've ever suddenly been let go from a job that you'd had for years and years and years, even if you've suddenly lost a loved one, a child, even though it's not your fault, even though you could do nothing to stop it, if there's this future that you've held so dear that suddenly evaporates in your hand, the feeling is not just failure, the feeling is also shame. Hope can put you to shame. It's a dangerous thing. And let me ask you this. If you're one of those people who've had hope turn to ash in your hands, your future turn to ash in your hands, how likely are you to back up to that big shelf and grab another hope and start trying again? Probably not so likely, right? I mean, you will walk up to the shelf and you will take some hopes off, but there'll probably be smaller hopes, and you won't hold them as long. You'll keep it safe. This is just simple emotional math. This is what we human beings do. Once burned, twice shy. You'll continue to hope, but your hope will be smaller, flatter things, and some of that joy, some of that light, some of that forward lean that hope gives will go out of your life. And into this hopeless world comes the Apostle Paul, and he announces the one hope in all of history that cannot put us to shame. Paul realized that man hanging on the cross was resurrected. And so Paul realized that image, which looks dark at first, is actually the image of the love of a God who will go to any place, who will go to your darkest place, the place of your biggest anxiety, the place of your biggest pain, the place of your biggest worry. This is a God with a love that will endure any emotional pain and any physical pain to go into your dark place, grab a hold of you, and pull you out, and make you new.